Mm-hmm. Alright, let's get it. It was a little too late. It's already fucking 8, but had to cook some shit. Had to cook, watched Breaking Bad a little bit while I was cooking, chilled for a second while I was finished eating too, and then here we fucking go. That's the last. Nah, fuck it. I was gonna say that's the last time I'm gonna cuss tonight, but whatever, it's fine. Cool. Damn, tomorrow's Wednesday too. Work week's almost over. Let's go. Almost back to the weekend. Excuse me. Okay. Let's go get some music. What are people saying? I'll read that shit later. And what the fuck? 94. Who cares? Anything? Why am I checking notifications? What am I doing, bro? My brain. The pointer video popped off, I guess. Please? Music? Oh, yeah. That's it. Alright, let's get it. So, what is this? An example where we have a regular ass integer, we print the value, and then we have a reference to it, an L value reference to it, and then a pointer to it, and then we fuck around by dereferencing the pointer to change the value at the address the pointer is pointing at, or at the address the pointer variable is holding, because the pointer is an object, thus it's a variable because it's named. Can we have a temporary pointer? Let's find out real quick. I don't know why I would want one. Could you have a pointer to something, a temporary pointer, and get a const L value reference to it? It seems kind of stupid, but it seems like the logic tracks, right? No, I'll do question 1 in a minute. I do what I want. And that guy, that first comment, potato PC, no excuse, buddy. My laptop's shit. Maybe his computer's worse than my, what? I finished undergrad in 21, so, but I started undergrad in 2018, so 7 years. 7-year-old laptop. It's a piece of shit. It has an i7 in it, but I think it's weak. What are we doing? Oh yeah, a temporary pointer and a null value reference to it. Just like I can do a const int reference to 5, right? To an R value. Can I do the same thing? Oh fuck, hold on. A reference to a pointer. I think I can do that. Didn't I do something like that yesterday? I think I did. Yeah, I did. I did a reference to a pointer so I could pass the pointer itself and get the value that the pointer was holding. Not get the value, but actually change the pointer itself wherever it is in memory. Not changing some temporary copy that doesn't mean shit. So const a pointer to a what? Let's say a temporary pointer to, oh fuck, does this work? A temporary pointer means it needs an address of something real. I think I need an integer, and we're gonna have, oh wait. Well, let's see. So I could have an int pointer that's temporary to x, maybe? Does it need to be named? Oh wait, duh, address of x, that's the first part. Does it need to be named XP? Now it's cool? What if it's not though? Fuck, I don't think temporary pointers exist. Yeah, that has to be the case. Okay, whatever, it's fine, fuck it. Alright, so. Excuse me. What does the program print? I mean, let's just see if I can do it in my head. Oh, there's too many. There's so many prints. There's no way I can't memorize 15. There's no way. Alright, so we have a 32-bit machine means a 32-bit, so a 4-byte pointer, not an 8-byte one, and as short as 2 bytes, so like normal. Alright, so we're gonna say there's a value that's 7. Other value is 3. Oh, and the reference is that. Okay. So 15 prints. 1, 2, sure. 10, 11, 12, 13, oops, 13, 14, 15. First, we're printing the address of value 0012FF60, right? And then we're printing the value of the object, or the value the object's holding. And the pointer is holding the address, so it should also be 0012FF60, right? In the reference, oh wait, no. Short other value is not okay. Yeah. Oh, we don't even have there's no reference actually here. We only have pointers going on. Okay, so we have we have the address of the object, the value of the object, and pointer has the object's address, so it should be the same. And then 4 would be the dereferenced pointer, so the value at that address, which should be 7. And then inline, duh. And then we have dereferenced, or we have assigned 9, the R value, to the location that pointer points at. So we dereference, I just said excuse me for yawning. We dereference the pointer to assign value or read value at the address it's pointing at. So we're changing the value at the address. Therefore, pointer is pointing to value, so we're changing value. So value is now 9. In this case, we're printing the reference of value, okay? Sorry, we're pointing the address of the value, but it should still be located in the same place in memory. Value, however, now is going to be 9. Why? We haven't touched value, but we did update the value at where value exists, where the object is, through dereferencing the pointer. And the pointer is still pointing to the same shit. And then we've dereferenced the pointer. So in this case, the locations are the same. The location of address, the address of value, pointer, same shit. The only thing that's changed is the value at value, or stored by value. Okay? But now pointer is pointing to other value. So the reference of other value is what we're printing. 0012FF54, sure. And then we're printing the value of other value, which is 3. We are printing pointer, which is 0012FF54 again, and 3. And that's it. And 16 and 17. In a size of a pointer, in this case, is 4 because 4 bytes. And then the size of the value the pointer is pointing at, well, both of these are shorts in this case. Pointer value is the same, doesn't matter. Or the size of a pointer doesn't matter. So, and the size of a short is 2. So, cool. Because they're basically saying, hey, address, value of address of the object, value the object stores. Address the pointer is pointing to, value the pointer is pointing to. Address of the object, new value of the object after dereferencing the pointer and assigning value there. Value of the object, pointer is still pointing in the same place. Pointer dereferenced, same value. So we can see that we can update value through dereferencing a pointer, or by dereferencing a pointer. Now, address of the new variable, or new object, new variable, value of that variable. The pointer is pointing to it. So it's that same location. And then the value by dereferencing the pointer instead of just accessing the variable itself. And then the size of the pointer in this case, which is 32 divided by 4, or divided by 8, sorry. and then the size of what the pointer's pointing at. Short. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, as expected. As expected about the 4 and the 2. Well, yeah, we know that. Size of the pointer. Yeah, we know that it's the same size as the machine, the architecture. On 64-bit, that motherfucker 8 bytes. 64 bits. Same thing with 32. But in this case, a short is 2 bytes, because that's default. So, pop. Yeah, because we can't. It seems like the smallest value that we can actually access and do stuff to as a whole piece of memory right now so far is a byte. We can read a byte. Hold on. Because bit manipulation, I mean, you could have a uint 8, sure, and you could have, I guess, a uint 8. Yeah, that's 8 bits. That's still a lot of value, right? That's 8 whole bits. That's up to 255, yo, right? Because you have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, plus these guys, which is the same as this minus 1, 255, because 0. It's 256 total, but 0 is included, so it only goes up to positive 255. So, what did all that gibberish mean? What was I talking about? I don't remember. Some shit on the glasses. Some spit or something. I keep talking. Okay. Oh yeah. For bit manipulation, or the smallest memory manipulation we could do. I mean, we could do a uint 8t. Oh yeah, because that's how you normally do it for bit manipulation. We don't do a uint. I was stupid yesterday doing a uint. Do a uint 8t, and then we get 8 whole bits out of that thing. Because the smallest we can initialize is a whole bit. We can't initialize a whole byte. We can't initialize half a byte of memory, as far as I can tell. Because we can't, there's no object that can exist. An object has to, at least as far as I can tell, take up at least a byte. It's the smallest amount that we can dole out. Like the smallest amount of food I can give out is enough to feed your family. I can't just feed you, buddy. You got 8 people in your family, that's the minimum. Even if you only have 5, I still have to give you food for 8. That's the policy, bucko. Because all of our food is packaged. All of our memory is packaged. I only have it in 1 byte sections. I can't give you a piece of it, because then we got this unwrapped shit, or this unwrapped shit that I have to like piece out to other people. Ah, fuck all that, dude. Just take the whole thing. That's how it is. So the individual bits in a byte can be updated because we can read the value that the byte is actually holding. Because the byte is holding 8 separate bits, and we can read them if we assign value to the byte in binary. The biggest value it can hold is 255 for positive. But if we convert that to binary, that's 11111111. So we can read it in binary, and we can turn these guys on and off. Right? The point of all that? Not sure. Why was I talking about that? I don't know. But size of is going to describe things in terms of actual usable pieces of memory. 8 bytes, or 8 bits a piece, yo. Null pointer. Alright. Because 1 byte for 8 ints. Ooh. Null pointer. Oh yeah, that was like us initializing. You could do it either way. Int pointer x is pointing to null, or is it null? Do you have to include something? I mean, we got null pointer. Excuse me. Well, buddy, I can't exactly use x, otherwise you want me to dereference them? I'm cooked otherwise. There it is. I'm cooked. Pop. You asked for it. Wait, it's okay. Oh, but I think the point is that I can all this did was say pointer, point to 0. An integer, because I mean binaries or bits are just integers, right? 0 or 1, point at 0. And then increment it. Now point to this guy. But if we increment the dereference guy, I'm adding 1 to null. I'm going to memory and I'm taking that piece of memory, and instead of having it be assigned a value of null, whatever that is, I am assigning it something higher. I'm incrementing whatever it is. We cannot read null pointer, bucko. Nice. Cool. Oh, yeah, that's what was weird. I wanted it to be on the full screen. Cool. All right. Cover the basics of pointer. All right. Cover the basics of pointers, which are objects that hold the address of another object. Coolio. This address can be dereferenced using the dereference operator. Yeah, to access the memory there and do shit to it, or to access the to assign value there, or to read value from there. Yep, I could print or I could assign value there, so we could do asterisk pointer to dereference the pointer is assigned 20, and now x will read 20. Dereference the pointer will read 20. I also noted that pointers do not need to point to anything. Yeah, because it could be null. Such pointers and the various implications of pointing to nothing further. Okay. Okay. What happens when you point to nothing? Besides a memory address, there's one additional value that a pointer can hold. That's it. Null or the memory address. A null value is a special value that means something is no value. When a pointer is holding a no value, it's actually not pointing at anything. So it isn't that it's pointing to this forbidden piece of memory with a locked door. It's actually pointing at something else. It's like putting a piece of tungsten inside, or well, let's see. That's like I guess taking the firing pin out of a firearm maybe is the closest, or putting something in that stops the firing pin from operating so that it can't even fire, it can't destroy itself or anything. Because it doesn't destroy anything, it just halts. So you pull the trigger and it clicks and nothing happens and you can't do anything to it. You've already effectively unchambered it. The bolt's already forward, you can't do anything unless you charge it again. Okay. Excuse me. So we could have oh, so by including string we get null. What in the fuck is this formatting? Okay, so we can get null by including basically anything in the C standard library, seems like. Otherwise we're not happy. Alright, cool. Cool. So we can make a pointer not point to anything. That way we can value initialize them so that if we use them, it just ends the program and doesn't do unexpected stuff. If you're not initializing them with the address of a valid object, just like value initialization, it's actually the exact same syntax too. Oh, good base slapping. This is nice. Makes sense, yeah. point to the address of X. Yep, now we can print the value of X through the dereference pointer. Yep. Okay. I kind of want a drug dealing simulator game now. Fuck. I really just want to make my game, but I want to make a sci-fi game too that's like Arc Raiders. But now since I'm watching Breaking Bad again. Oh, and I'm thinking about Schedule 1, such a fun game. Let me check something. I'm gonna static cast true and false to, and then cool. And then same for false. Forget that you have to look at the type, the angled brackets to see the value in VS22. This might be redundant though. Now we can make the pointer point to value 2, or sorry, we can point to value instead of no pointer. And then, hold on. Okay, so pointer 2 is valid, sure. But then I can make pointer 2 point to no pointer. Hold on, what the fuck are we doing here? We're saying, okay, we're initializing a pointer to point to no pointer. Or we have a valid pointer that's pointing to something valid, and we can reseed him to look at no pointer. And I can call a function and pass it null pointer as a pointer to initialize another. So I could use a pointer to initialize a pointer. Yeah, so I can initialize a pointer with a pointer or with a memory address. To an object. Okay. So we could do something like motherfucker. Yeah, sure. Hello? What in the fuck am I doing? we're gonna say standard string enemy. We're gonna say a const standard string enemy orc, and then we can say we have a standard string pointer called enemy pointer, or target pointer, or target P? Sure, I like that for now. Just give me the address of this enemy. Oh, and this would actually need to be const because it's pointing at a standard string like that. Okay, is it gonna be cool with null pointer though? I'm curious. What am I doing here? I could just say function void make pointer null, and we take make target null, I guess, and it takes a const standard string pointer reference, a reference to a standard string, a const standard string pointer. Target pointer, sure. Okay, nothing going on just yet. All right, cool. Now we're gonna call make target null with target P and null pointer. And I'm just gonna say, I don't know what type I would pass this. I mean, I could just do null pointer, or I could do an int pointer. Sure. And all I'm doing is making target pointer point to null P, which is just null pointer, and then return target pointer. Well, we don't need to return shit. That's the problem. So this guy would need to be a const standard string pointer, which null pointer can be. So this guy, null pointer, can be converted to any other kind of pointer we want, seems like. And so we could say target is dereference target pointer, and then we could say target made null, or rather set target to null, and then output target is, fuck, I'm dereferencing null pointer. Maybe that ain't good. Target is, now I'm gonna say target pointer with a value of, uh-oh, here comes. Uh-oh. Yeah, because we're reading null pointer. Yep, makes sense. And then we say if target pointer is null pointer, then output target is set to null pointer. Uh-oh. No. With conditional expression? Alright, fine. If, wait, with, oh, assignment. Oops, this is not equivalency. That was stupid. Okay, so null is the 0 then, huh? So at first, target is orc, because we're passing a reference to the pointer, so we see the actual this pointer, we're accessing it as an alias. We set the target, so it was orc, and I could have a condition here saying, hey, if it's not already pointing to null, then set the target to null, and then the target is, this is the address. I can't fucking count. 4. Yeah, it is. Okay, so 16 bits here. A 16-bit address. Oh, but I think that's in hex, so that's probably massive. Target is set to null pointer. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so we can pass null pointer as a parameter to initialize, or as an argument rather, to initialize any kind of pointer, seems like. So we have a pointer. We have a pointer pointing to null pointer, initialize the null pointer. Of an integer variable, a pointer that's pointing to it. That pointer is then received to point to null pointer. And then we have a function, and I can pass it null pointer to do shit with a pointer that's there. I can pass it probably to initialize it. I wonder, yeah, if you're copying stuff by reference, maybe the default argument for a pointer is 0 then. Or by value, not passing by reference. Because then we would be setting something to null pointer. I'm so tired. Dude, my eyes are getting sleepy. The music isn't bopping hard enough. Okay. I'm gonna do 4 one-arm negative push-ups in each arm. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, sometimes that wakes me up a little, sometimes it does not. We'll find out next time on retard coding. All right. Cool. Yep. When you need a null pointer literal for initialization, like if you create a pointer, is it uninitialized memory if we're not actually using it? wait, do I need this though? I can't even get the address? Ay, ay, ay. I wanted the address, man. Oh wait, fuck. That's a Kojima movie I need to watch this weekend. This is when I need a null pointer literal, but maybe it makes sense to just do this. Dereferencing a null pointer? Yeah, have fun, buddy. A while pointer leads to undefined because we don't know what the hell it's pointing to. Even dereferencing a null pointer is undefined. And I guess that's why they said that dangling wild pointers can often lead to undefined behavior, because it might be the case that it's already set to null. I guess that's what we could do. We could say... it's gonna fucking... Because we're evaluating it in the condition. I was hoping that there'd be some loophole. No way to tell where it's pointing at. Alright, so sure, if we assume that a dangling pointer will lead to, will be pointing at null, well, we shouldn't. It should always be initialized with null. To point to null, to point to 0, I guess. Okay. Cap. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no pointer, and then we're dereferencing it. Yeah, I've already been doing that, buddy. I've been doing that this whole time. Wow. Well, how about check, boy? Check if the motherfucker's null first. Value initialize him. Make him a null pointer when you create him. And then... check if he's null later when you use him. Maybe. After it gets fucked around. If you're passing stuff as references, and some guys might be setting him to null, and some guys might not, well, maybe each time you use him, you want to make sure. Cool. Yeah, pointer to an int. That's our X boy. If pointer is null, it's null. Otherwise, it's not null. Cool. And then we say int null pointer, same shit. What the fuck is this? We have a ternary. Null pointer is null or not null. Oh, I haven't used a C-style string like that before. Sure, we'll do it. I'll just leave it like this, and then we're gonna do. Oh, actually, we don't need that. We can just do the. I just need IOStream. Does it care if this is const expression or not? I don't know. We'll find out. Cool. Uninitial. What is happening here? Oh, pointer. Cool. No! Wait. Alright. It's the gay test, bro. If that boy's got his nails painted, he's cooked. Alright, we're good to go. Using a conditional during standard character output insertion and using pointer dereferencing to check a value at a place to determine which condition the ternary should return. Or which value the ternary should return. For character output to output. Yeah, so we have x. Pointer is pointing at pointer is pointing at x. It's not null. It's non-null. Value initialize another one, and then output this guy. Yep. Pointer is non-null. Null pointer is null. Oh. But can I do the other side, the inverse? All right. Null point. Oh wait, can I convert it to null pointer? Nah, it's not type. Okay. was gonna say I get it's a pointer. It's just it's just an address, so it's a value, not a pointer. So we can't. It's like convert. It's like static casting one to be two. Right, bro. All right. So integral values can do that. And any other integral value converts to Boolean true. Sure. Pointers also implicitly convert to Boolean values. But I can't explicitly do it. Meaning, oh, so what was I doing before? Let's push some shit. Oh no. Man, where did my repo go? Who knows? Oh, well. Oh, well, I mean, I guess we need one, huh? Gotcha. Because we need the object. No such thing as a temporary pointer. We have to convert a value, not a type to a type. You can't convert a type to a type. We can convert a value of a type to a type, though. To another value of another type. Oh, god dang, I'm tired today. Oof. So pointers convert to true unless it's null. Okay. So we can skip. So we can say if null pointer. Or rather, if that object pointer. Whoa! Cool. Because this is a valid pointer. We're passing in by reference, motherfucker. We're checking, is he pointing to? Is he pointing to him? Get him out! Alright, now what if we say... What the? I know it doesn't make a difference, but I'm doing it anyway. We can do him. We can do null. Oh, we're just defining null to 0? Dude, it's the same as value initialization, yeah. We could just check if the pointer is 0, bro. Right, what happens if we... Well, yeah, it's the same shit as value initialization, we know that. I did value initialization earlier. Let me make sure, though. Uh-oh. Bop! Cool. So, yes, value initializing a pointer is indeed assigning it the memory address of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, yo. 16, 0. Yeah, same shit as standard character output. We can check. Hey, if not pointer, that boy is null. Non-null. I'd rather just check if he's null. Otherwise, do the right shit. So, if he's null, stop. Don't check to make sure he's not null, and just make sure he's null. He's null first. Because if he's null, we 100% want to stop. Because maybe there are other values I want to check. Make sure that he's this, or this, or the... Oh, what if we... Pointer memory addresses, are they integers? No, because the address of operator returns a pointer temporary. So it's not just an integer it's not just a hex integer memory address. Therefore, I don't think that a switch case will work. But I'm curious to fail. What the fuck am I doing? Semicolon? What am I doing? God, this keyboard. Okay. What in the fuck am I doing? Address, yo. What the fuck? Oh no, this is not it. Oh, here it comes. Watch this. No issues? We're about to have one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Integral or enums. That's all we can switch on. Can't do a float, nor can we do a pointer. But I can do a ref, huh? Because it's an alias for the object. Or how about an L value, or an L value to const, an L value reference to const, looking at R value, or bound to R value 5. Yeah, alright. No issues. Cool. Makes sense because we're accessing basically X just through an alias. Or whatever that variable is, we're accessing the temporary as via an alias. Makes sense. Shorten it up, son. Oh. True. Condition. True. Oh, what in the fuck? I'm used to Excel's shit. Oh, God. I'd rather just check for non-P. Non-null, yo. Using some conditional operator jazz, bro. Nice. Very nice. Man, I'm so tired I was doing Control Shift S to save the fucking web page, which doesn't even do anything. Control S will, but Control Shift S doesn't. Reaction time is negative right now. Conditionals can only be used to differentiate null pointers or null pointers from non-null pointers. There's no way to say if it's this because, well, I mean, I could check to see if it's pointing at the same thing, I could test to see if an enemy can see the player by saying, is the enemy's target pointer equivalent to the player? I.e., is the pointer pointing to the same thing the player point, or is it pointing to? I don't want to dereference it, but I could say, is the pointer? Yeah, right? Because objects, if I refer to an object, or I guess that's what well, yeah, that's the same thing. But, so I could say the same thing. I guess that's what I would do. Maybe I don't explicitly have a pointer to the character, to the player character, but I can get one by doing the address of the character, because the character is an object. I could do the address of the object to get a pointer to it. I don't have to fucking get the object, then explicitly create a pointer, and then equivalent, and then compare the equivalents. Instead, I can just say, hey, the enemy has a target pointer, compare that with the reference of the character. If they are equal, that means that the pointer of the enemy, the address that the enemy is targeting, is the same address as the character, which means the enemy is looking at the player. And I can do that. Every tick, check the pointer. If it is pointing at the character, well, it should be following the character or in combat mode. And if it is not doing it, then it should not be in combat mode. Or if it was just looking at the player and it is now no longer looking at the player, set a timer, and after 3 seconds, then stop looking at the player. If at the end of the 3 seconds, it's still not looking at the player. Otherwise, keep looking at the player. That way you get actual good pathfinding. That's the same logic basically, but it seems like in C++ terms, maybe, that my behavior tree would be worth using. There's no way. Are you tripping? If I know that there's a valid object, though, then I can check. For example, let's say that there's, let's just say we have a standard, we don't have a standard string yet on. And then we have a standard string pointer, enemy target. It's at first pointing to null, but then enemy target is pointing to player. And then we are outputting I mean, this would be an interesting way of doing it. Instead of doing if this, print this, or if this, print this, else print this, or we could do print this or this. So maybe this makes sense. So we're going to say is enemy target equal to the reference of player. So far it seems like I'm right. Enemy is targeting player. Otherwise, enemy is not targeting player. And it's okay because I'm using initialized memory, so I think this is fine. Oh, hold on. Oh, oops. I was outputting this, but then question mark this. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Cool. Yeah, I can totally check. Here's an object. I can basically say, hey, there are treasure hunting players in the game. And whenever the player looks at the treasure, their pointer for their current target, it will point to the object that their center pixel, where their cursor is, over. So I'm constantly looking to see what their target is. I can check to see, hey, is their pointer holding the address of the treasure chest. Because if it is, they have targeted the treasure chest. No, 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 yes, no, 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 yes. I can totally check that. Am I reading this right? Conditionals can only be used to differentiate null pointers from non-null pointers, meaning to check if a pointer is valid or not. There's no convenient way to determine whether a non-null pointer, whether a valid pointer, is pointing to a valid object or dangling. Because if we're talking about dangling, meaning there's no way to check if it's pointing to a valid object or if it's dangling. Because if it's dangling, then it's now pointing to a garbage value, which isn't null. Gotcha. So if I was comparing it to something, I couldn't necessarily tell what it's pointing at unless I know that that object exists. If that object doesn't exist, like let's say the player died, and then they're looking at the player's body, maybe I don't want them to be targeting the player. Like if you're in Dark Souls or something, and let's say you press a button and it updates your pointer to point towards the next object that you're targeting, you don't want to be targeting the dead body. So the condition doesn't tell me if the object they're pointing to is valid, but it does tell me, it could tell me the object that they're pointing to though. Because if I say that, hey, I know this thing exists, I know that this is an apple, and I see that you're looking here, I know that you're looking at this apple, I know it. Because there's only one memory address for this, right? Like the same memory address means this place in memory, there's only one. If I give you coordinates in this room, there's only one coordinate for the tip of my finger. Those are all separate coordinates. So I don't fully agree with this, but I agree with the spirit of it. There's no way to tell if a pointer is valid or not with a condition. Is pointer valid? Because you would have to go and check and dereference what it's pointing at to see if it's even an object. But I don't even think a pointer is aware of the object. I think the pointer is just pointing at the value at a particular piece of memory. And it just so happens that when you set it to be the address of an object, it's wherever the object's memory starts. So if it takes up 4 bytes, it's the first one. Use null pointer to avoid dangling pointers. Meaning that I can, if an object gets destroyed, then I can set something to be null. Or if I'm setting something and then, yeah, like I don't care about it anymore, I can update it to be null. So we can say, assume that, all right, let's find out what it's talking about. Excuse me. We mentioned that dereferencing a pointer that is null or dangling will result in undefined behavior. We need to make sure that we don't dereference null or dangling pointers. Yeah. To make sure before we dereference it that it's not null. So if the pointer, then dereference it. Else, something else. Or rather, I would rather just check if it's not pointing at it, don't do shit. Otherwise, do the real shit. Or give an else if. Pointing to this, do the real shit. What about dangling? We need to avoid having any dangling pointers in a program in the first place. We need to ensure, we do that by ensuring that any pointer that is not pointing at a valid object is set to null pointer. The only thing there is a dangling pointer would be if we have a pointer that's pointing at something. Well, a wild pointer is an uninitialized pointer. But a dangling pointer is a pointer that was pointing at an object, but then the object got destroyed. So if I returned the address of an object in a function, and then I use a pointer, or I initialize the pointer with that, and the object isn't static, and then I dereference the pointer, we're referencing a dangling pointer. Or dereferencing rather, a dangling pointer. Because it's pointing to memory where the object that used to exist when it was pointed there no longer exists. Therefore, it is now dangling. Oh, fuck, I'm so tired. No, I'm about to go to bed at 9:30. Oh my god. I'll see if I get renewed vigor in 10 minutes here. If I do, then I'll go. But I'm gonna brush my teeth. You know, I'll probably do that. I'm gonna brush my teeth and then I'll go until I fall asleep and then I'll go to bed. Because health comes first. 30 extra minutes of studying or even an hour, even 3 hours of extra studying in one day is not gonna fuck me over. Nor is it gonna make me, is it gonna set me straight. There's no way to detect whether it's dangling, so we need to avoid having them dangling. What did we is that what we define them as? A dangling pointer? Oops. Motherfucker. Yeah, that's no longer valid. Okay. Yep. So we have a pointer pointing to something. And then we set the pointer to point to something else. And that pointer still exists because it was created outside of the scope so it didn't get destroyed. And now it's pointing to something that was made in an inner scope that is now destroyed. So then it seems like in that case, where we have a pointer that's created, an object is created, the pointer is now set to point to that object, but then that object gets destroyed. Before the object is destroyed, we set the pointer to be null. We like set it to the ground basically. Instead of having some live wire somewhere else, we just connect it into the ground so we're safe. So I guess you could say like we have some wire that has power and it needs to connect to something powered. So we connect it to this to power the mic. And it's got to connect to this PC cord too to plug in the cord. But instead of going from here, wild, dangerous, to here, we go from here to the ground for safety, and then from the ground to the PC. Boom, 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 boom. So pointer's pointing to something. Instead of letting it go wild and then potentially having it shock you by dereferencing it, you point it to the ground, no pointer. And then later you can reassign it to point to something else that's valid. That way, anytime you dereference it, even if it was pointing, even if it was going to be dangling, we've stopped the dangling prematurely. I don't think this stops the dangling. The point here is, don't, hold on. That way, before dereferencing a pointer, oh yeah, here we go. Yep, there it is. Nice, as said. This should be first. That way, after doing this, then we make sure it's not null, therefore it's not dangling, we're good to go. Should hold the address of a valid object or be set to null pointer, never dangling. That way we only need the test for null and assume that they're not dangling. Avoiding dangling pointers isn't always easy. When an object is destroyed, yeah, it'll be dangling. Yeah. Such pointers are not nulled automatically, so we have to find them. Therefore, we have a pointer. It's set to point to something that's going to get destroyed before the pointer will. The second, or right when we're done with that object, we set it back to null. I'm imagining the women in switchboard rooms. They keep it on the ground And then the second you need to connect the call, you connect the call. And then once the call is done, you put it back. You don't just leave it out in the open to get tangled up with all the other cords. In this case, not a great analogy because pointers aren't going to get tangled up with each other, but they might get tangled up with other objects though. So if we assume that the cords are hot wires, we connect the cord to a valid object, to a call, and then instead of, oh, the call's done, leave it hanging out wild and about for anybody to try and use and get shocked or whatever, hurt, we plug it back into null. So plug it into null, plug it into here, plug it into null, plug it into call. Oh, you're done with the call, plug it into null. When an object is destroyed, the pointer is left dangling. Detect these cases and make sure we're setting to null pointer. Legacy, there's 0 and there's null. I wonder what the difference is. Does it say a best practice? Oh, okay. Never mind, it was talking about not even using pointers. Oh, GG. Let me see 2 other literals instead of null pointer. 0, specifically defined to mean a null value, and is the only time we can do an integral literal to a pointer. Oh, really? For example, only don't do it. It's uninitialized. Oh, we have a pointer to 0. Or rather, it's not a pointer to 0, it's a null pointer. But it implies that maybe you can initialize pointers with integers when you can't. And then pointer 2 is uninitialized, and now it's null. Now it's a null pointer. I got P. Oh my god, I'm falling asleep. Okay. So we've made him a null pointer, but we shouldn't be doing that with a with an integer. Modern architectures, the address 0 is used to represent a null pointer. Not guaranteed by the C++ standard. Okay. And some use other values. Oh, fuck. Yeah, screw that. Literal 0 when used in a null, as a null pointer in the context of a null pointer will be translated into whatever address is needed. So, oh, maybe it's 3 on this one, or it's 2 on this one. If we give it 0, it actually becomes that. Cool. A preprocessor macro. Oh, yeah, we saw that because it defined null as 0, but it's actually the same thing, so we also shouldn't do it. Yeah. The macro is inherited from C, where it's used to indicate a null pointer. Null. Yeah, we saw that. It's defined null as 0. That makes sense. Here comes 3, 2. Both 0 and null should be avoided in modern C++. Use null pointer instead. Makes sense because it's probably whatever exact address it needs to be. Is it? Oh, alarm isn't on. What the fuck? I didn't even turn it on. I didn't. Alright, well that was hour and a half. Well, not even quite an hour and a half. I was like 8 minutes late, but I gotta brush my teeth, and then I'll see if I can continue.